All right, we're here now with he's going to be a starting outfielder on opening day. Barring he stays healthy, please stay healthy. Mike Tauchman, what's going on, man?
Good to be here, guys. How's it going?
Not bad. How was your off season? Did you do anything cool?
My wife and I went to Hawaii at the beginning of the off season, which I'd never been to. So we usually try to do one vacation, and then it's kind of time to get back in the gym and start to get ready and stuff. Obviously, I had a little bit more specific things that I wanted to make sure I took care of, just to make sure that showed up to spring training, 100% healthy, and kind of took a little deeper dive into some of the underlying causes of my injury in September. So that was kind of a priority. But other than that, pretty normal off season. Yeah.
Hawaii must be cool though. How long were you there? Like a week?
We were there for a week. Yeah. Neither of us had ever been, so it was pretty perfect. Like that's gonna be a tough
thing to top.
Yeah, that's gonna be probably the fallback. Like, we can just go to Hawaii. I don't think I'll ever get sick of going there. So.
It seems like it's a fake place. Like it is never. No one's sad there. You're not allowed to be sad.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
much time in the off season do you usually give yourself to just think, all right, I'm not thinking about baseball or working at all? How much time do you give to really just relax and downtime?
I get a little stir crazy. I always like to say, I'm gonna sit on the couch for a week, and I'm not gonna eat. I'm gonna just get pizza and Chinese food and eat terrible every day, and then 2 days of that, and I'm kind of over it. 2-3 days of that, and just. But I kind of progressively work back into things so I think then we went to Hawaii in the beginning of November. So it was maybe the second week in November I started to get back in the weight room a few times a week, and then about a month later, usually around Thanksgiving, beginning of December, I start hitting a couple times a week, and then usually around Christmas I'll start to maybe add another day or two of hitting, and start to maybe do a little bit more running work, stuff like that. And, usually around the new year, I'll start to play catch. So it's kind of a slow ramp up to where it's, those last couple weeks of the off season, it's 5 or 6 days a week. And it's, a combination of working out, getting my legs under me with some running stuff, and hitting, maybe 4 times a week.
I enjoyed you and Voight kind of commenting on each other's workout pictures and all that on Instagram. You guys are pretty much on opposite sides. You're the outfielder, obviously. He's the first baseman. You guys are pretty much the complete opposite body types. And
well, if you notice, I did see your comment on, this is how much weight you're supposed to be using or whatever. And if you that video, there's no weight in the video. He never puts how much weight he's doing in the video. No, obviously. Luke's an animal in the weight room, and we're on slightly different programs, but it's clear to see that he put a lot of work in. Obviously he had his core issue last year, but he's in great shape. You don't have to worry about him coming back, healthy and strong. So, anything to kind of break up the boringness of spring training. But I did have an internal monologue on how far do I want to take this. No.
At what point did you finally feel 100% healthy?
I felt like where I had gotten to, I would have been an option for the World Series if they had called. And that truly confident, it probably sometime in the winter. Just because of some of the things that I was doing to try to, like I said, prevent these kind of injuries from happening. I kind of took a deep dive into some movement assessments, and there were some concerning things concerning to me, regarding some foot mobility and some hip mobility that could have contributed, that we think could have contributed to the injury.
Right.
So kind of getting those, almost rewiring your brain to teach you how to move. When you were 6 months old, and
right,
a year old, before you learn all the bad habits. Before sit around at a desk in school for 8 hours a day, or play video games for 3 hours hunched over, in the dark, or whatever. All those bad habits you pick up, and you try to, or all the things that happen with a rotational athlete all season long, constantly swinging left-handed, throwing left-handed, turning to the right, to and that you can get imbalanced and you can get one-sided, and so this offseason I really made that a priority, is kind of correcting some of those things, and I'm confident that's going to play some big dividends for me this year from a health perspective.
That's huge. A guy who was added to the staff, overhauling the whole strength and conditioning department, Eric Cressy. I feel like he's probably been, you've been working with him a little bit with, revamping your training and all that. How has he been an impact so far?
I mean, you can definitely tell they're, trying to implement like a more cohesive strength conditioning, athletic training, field staff. They're trying to sort of combine that. It's just to kind of make sure everybody's on the same page. I've had some positive interactions with some of the new staff members, some of the new guys that are going to be on the major league staff, and I think that we're a super deep team. We want to keep all our guys healthy, but I think that there's definitely there's a noticeable change in kind of the approach that guys are taking.
Cool.
Last year, before the injury, you had become basically like a superstar. You were the best Mike T in baseball, is what we were calling you. I think. Do you have the numbers pulled up? We have. So we interviewed you in like July of last year. Our episode came out July 18th. Week of July. So we have pre and post short porch bump numbers.
So the 44 games up to July 18th, you had a slash of 229, 326, 424, just 750 OPS, 5 homers, 19 RBIs. Since you met us, our episode came out, all that. In 43 games, 317, 391, 570 with a 962 OPS, 8 homers, 28 RBIs, including the robbery of the home run.
So first of all, would you like to say thank you? And second of all, what adjustments do you think you made besides coming on the short porch that helped you?
So, yeah, you guys can pat yourselves on the back. But we played the Twins on May 4th, early in the year. And we had a day game, and we're facing Jake Odorizzi. And I think he threw me 6 fastballs down the middle, and I swung and missed at all of them, thinking at the time when I was swinging at him that I was going to inflict some damage. And he's got a good fastball. Like his fastball definitely plays up. But that was extremely embarrassing, and I felt like that was kind of rock bottom, to where I, kind of sent out the bat signal and got on the horn with anybody that I've ever talked hitting with, and we broke some film down, and that, and kind of came up with some ideas that I brought to Marcus and PJ the next day, and we kind of all got on the same page. And from a mechanical standpoint, there was a little bit too much forward movement, there was a little bit too much head movement, and that had been going on. I'd basically put myself in some bad hitting positions, unbeknownst to me. So that made hitting velocity hard. So once I felt like I made those changes to sort of stay behind the ball a little bit better, stay a little bit more in the middle of my body, the confidence level of hitting the fastball really went up. And for me personally, when I feel like I can hit a guy's best fastball, that opens up a lot more. As a hitter, when you feel like you can't catch up to his heater, that's when you start to cheat, or you start to try to do things that are actually probably hurt you more than help you. So I think the next day we were facing Michael Pineda, and I struck out my first at bat, but I hit a home run my second at bat on a fastball up, and I was kind of like, okay, that's like the feeling that I want, because even in the strikeout, I was taking swings that I felt like were a lot more aggressive, but also a lot shorter and quicker, and I was behind the ball a little bit better. So, it was kind of once you feel that, once you kind of impact a ball the way you want to when you're making an adjustment, you can sort of kind of start to play off that and play around with that. And I mean, long story short, that combined just with kind of the mental adjustment that I made of like, I don't care if I miss 3 sliders every single at bat for the rest of the year. I'm not going to be late on a fastball for the rest of the year. I don't care, because I think spending 3 years in AAA hitting in the middle of the order, you just don't get a lot of fastballs. Yeah. So you almost like become a breaking ball hitter in a certain type of way, and I think that's a little bit of what happened to me. And in the major leagues, everybody's got a great fastball, so it's like I just had to recommit to hitting that fastball and almost in my mind I was selling out to it, but then I was putting my body in a really good position early enough to, if they did throw a breaking ball in the zone or a changeup in the zone, I was still in a good position to get the barrel to it.
Speaking of adjustments, in high school, you had a second half comeback against Jimmy Garoppolo. Do you say you're a better quarterback than him now? He's in the Super Bowl. And
I don't.
I traded for
you and Patrick Mahomes have something in common.
Yeah, you beat him in the second half.
That might be the only thing we have in common. No, that's like my fun fact. I guess that's going to be on the back of my baseball card forever. But
I think winning a championship with the World Series will
that would trump beat that one. Yeah, there you go.
What would you rather have your fun fact be? Is there anything else about you, or it's like if you had to replace the Jimmy Garoppolo stat?
No. I mean
that's the peak.
I'm not
the best dog in the world.
I'm not
owner
a
of
big
the best
fun,
dog in the
maybe
world.
That. Yeah, maybe that. I'm not a big
Shout
fun
out Coda.
fact guy. Yeah.
What was your favorite personal moment last year for just you individually?
So, made my debut in 2017, and I got my first hit, and that was awesome. And just being able to tell everybody that I made it to the big leagues was an awesome moment. You know, 2018 really I felt like was just such a disappointing year, and there was that doubt of I may never get back to the big leagues. And I maybe had, but in my head I was like, man, but I got there. I got to the big leagues. I got a hit in the big leagues. I played there's only 20,000 people or whatever in 140 years that can say that. So I was proud of that. I was proud of the work that I put in to get there. But in my head, I'm like, man, I'd like to hit a homer in the big leagues, because early in my career that wasn't a part of my game, and I had to work really hard to make it a part of my game. So my first homer against Boston at Yankee Stadium, that's just from a purely individual standpoint, that's probably one of the coolest feelings a person can ever have. It is I just wanted to hit one, and when I hit it, to know that I hit it too, and kind of get to just, it was one of those where you get to watch it and you don't really have to sprint out of the box, and it's, I'm never gonna pimp one on a guy, but I won't say that. I won't.
Yeah, I might.
I rarely hit absolute no doubters where I can pimp one on a guy, but that feeling, I can't even describe it. So that was pretty special,
especially against Boston too. And if you weren't a home run hitter, and the way you worked to make yourself one is insane, because that's one of the hardest things to do as a hitter, I feel like.
Yeah, it was. It was a difficult adjustment, and
it was Sale, right? Was it Sale, or was that earlier?
Sale was the triple. Right?
He started that day.
Okay.
He started that day. It was Erasmo Ramirez, I think his name is.
Right.
And it was a little 2-0 cutter that didn't quite get in enough, and that's it. Yeah,
I had the perfect seats for that. I was me and Carabas were sitting just inside the third base dugout, and we had the perfect angle for that.
In the midst of your hot streak, I still remember a series in Baltimore where you were going nuts. You robbed a home run. You're hitting home runs. What was just going through your head during that time? Where you're just like, God damn, this is awesome.
Yeah, you're in the zone, and guys are. It was last year was just, there was something about the group that we had last year where it was just guys were in the zone, and we'd call a guy. It was we were picking up guys off the street, and they were coming in and getting 3 hits. It was just, and we were just feeding off that energy, and we had certain guys even though he's a quiet guy, the energy DJ brings, the louder energy that Gardy brings, the energy that Cam Maben brings, Glaber, all these guys. It's just, you just feed off of it, and it's just, I know that, no, they're still a major league team, but Baltimore didn't have the best team, but it doesn't matter because you're facing major league pitching every night. You're competing, and and it's just, when it's going well, it's just it's so much fun because baseball's so hard. It's so hard to hit, and when it's going well, it's like you almost don't even want to like talk about it or acknowledge it because it's like it rarely goes this well. So let's just try to keep. We're just not going to even say anything and just keep going, and hopefully it continues. But no, that whole road trip was pretty fun. I don't know.
Yeah, you talk about the team last year. There were three guys, including Romine, Didi, and Cece. 3 guys I feel like that really gelled the whole clubhouse, and they're not going to be here in 2020. How do you feel like the clubhouse is going to move on from them, and who else will step up in their place?
Well, I think it's kind of like you said. People step up, and I think the best kind of leaders are the ones that just kind of happen organically. Obviously, Brett Gardner and Aaron Judge. I would say if you asked 10 guys in the locker room who the leaders of the team are, probably 9 or 10 of them are going to say those 2 guys.
Sure.
But I think that the little bit of interaction I've had with Caracol, I think he's going to really raise the level of the pitching staff. I think that you still have guys like Britt Nonato in the bullpen who kind of bring that experience and sort of it's amazing. Adam Ottavino, he was arguably a top 5 bullpen pitcher in baseball last year, and he got right to work in the offseason trying to come up with new ways to get guys out. It's like that's impressive. That guy's not 30 whatever years old. He could just say, I have the best slider in baseball. I'm just going to throw that, But no, he's trying to get better. And like Zach Britton's working on his breaking ball, trying to get better. And it's like that kind of stuff. To me that's leadership. Like that's saying I'm not okay with just resting on my laurels. And even though I've had 3, 4, 5, 6 good years in a row, next year is going to be my best year. So I think to me that's leadership. That's like the kind of player that I want to be. Like that's the kind of things that I want to do. And it's from position player side, you're seeing a 22-year-old kid, turn into a superstar before you're like the things that Gleyber Torres did last year were unbelievable, and nobody can discount that in any way. I know it's sometimes a little bit frustrating some of the way players are seen. It seems like it's like, well, like right now it's kind of frustrating with, I guess, how baseball is, where it's everybody's either cheating or they were using like a juiced ball or their expected numbers aren't that good. So it's like, well, who is good then?
What are we supposed to do?
I was like, Gleyber Torres, 22 years old, he hit 38 homers last year. Like, what is that? Like that's crazy. He's gonna hit. He might hit 45 homers this year.
His projections are wild. Like
it's outrageous. So like it's just like we have so many great players and great young players, and like we have a lot on our team that it's just it's just so fun to watch, and it's like enjoy it. I just try to enjoy it, and
You talked about a brief interaction with Caracol. What are your early impressions of him? I know you didn't get to face him in the ALCS. I don't remember if you've ever faced him before in your career.
Faced him in Live BP this year.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was going to get to that. What is it like facing him in that type of situation?
Obviously, the first thing you're going to talk about is like the stuff. Just in terms of pure stuff, he's got to be up there in terms of, he obviously is up there in terms of, the great strikeout pitchers in the game, great pitchers in the game. I think, though, that when you combine his, physical abilities with the way that his mind works as a pitcher and then the attention to detail that he has, and, he's always thinking, it seems like he's just always thinking pitching. He's always talking about how to get guys out, how to give guys different looks, kind of striving for perfection in a game that's just realistically, you can't be ever perfect, but he tries, and I think that's like, 1 through 20 on the depth chart of our pitching staff. That's just going to raise the levels of every single guy.
So you mentioned in the previous question cheating. I would assume that maybe involves the Houston Astros, and I know you weren't there in 2017, but when I'm sure you guys are done talking about it, want to be done talking about it, but we have to ask. When the news broke, what was just the feeling around the Yankees clubhouse? Are you texting guys, each other, and what has it been like in spring training so far?
Well, like a lot of guys have kind of addressed that, I guess. Like you said, I wasn't there in 2017. I agree with a lot of the sentiments that my teammates have shared. So it's obviously, it's frustrating. I think that, 120 years ago when baseball was around, guys are looking for a way to get an edge, and sometimes there's going to be a line that's crossed, and every generation deals with their own version of something. So, but I think I support everything my teammates have said to this point, and I'm looking forward to just March 26th, and then playing in into November or late October, whatever it is.
100%. We've asked everybody, like all the pitchers so far, their throwing partners. There's a little different because they have to like a bullpen catcher. Do you have a throwing partner every single day?
Do I have a throwing partner?
Like the same one every day?
No, not really.
Just all changes.
It just kind of changes, and
I got a ball and you want to go out there.
Yeah, I mean pretty much, and sometimes like sometimes if I stretch it out, I'll find somebody, like last year, I'd say a few times a week, like me and Judge would go out there and really stretch it out, like 250 plus feet, just kind of. But a lot of days I just do a little bit of throwing, sometimes with like one of the staff guys, and then I just run out there and I get my throwing into the bases, and I do maybe 6 to 8 throws every day from the outfield. But no, consistent throwing partner, I think that's more of a pitcher thing. Yeah.
Got it. You mentioned live BP. Is there a guy out there who, I don't know if you'll admit this, but like that you don't want to face? You're like, oh God, maybe Chapman. Like you see him out there, maybe take the day off.
No, I mean the guys that are scary are the guys that you're like, I don't know if he's gonna like throw strike, because getting hit in the game sucks. Getting hit in like a live BP
the worst,
is like, I don't know what if it's the adrenaline or what. It's 100 times worse. So like, I want to face a guy that I'm like, this guy is going to throw strikes, and he's going to be around the plate. So like, the veteran pitchers are usually the better guys to face in the live bullpens. Like, sometimes you get like a young kid and he wants to impress, and like, I don't blame him at all. So it used to be like my first couple of years. The first couple live BPs, a guy would be 87 to 91 or 88 to 92 in his first live BP. And I think it was my second time facing live pitching, and Alberto Brady was throwing 98 miles an hour. And it's like this. I mean, like,
give me a second.
What are we doing? So it's like the live BPs have really changed. All spring training's changed. We faced Nate Pearson in Dunedin the other day. He was throwing 100 miles an hour.
That guy's got to relax. He's throwing like 102.
It's hitting's getting a lot more hard. It's getting a lot harder.
You guys are also like at the disadvantage early on. In the spring for sure. Like pitchers have much more of an advantage, and I think JD Martinez was at Red Sox spring training. He was just like, I have no idea how to hit the baseball right now. I'll find out in a month, but right now I got to get my.
I share that sentiment with him. I've never been a great spring training performer. I know there are guys that are, and I don't know. I would have to guess that my career spring training numbers, I can't be more than a 200 hitter in spring training. And the one year that I started out the year like 1 for 30. So I think it's crazy that there seem to be guys that can just show up and rake, and there seem to be guys that can't buy a hit, and then the season starts and they flip a switch and they get they got 4 hits all spring, and then they get 4 hits in a couple doubles on opening day, and it's one of those crazy things. So
you can't put value into that at all. You just got to be healthy. And get through it.
How do I try to evaluate it by how was my work that day? How does my body feel? Like I was out there the other day, and it is a little bit different with the Yankees too, where like I wanted to hit the pitching machine on the field the other day. And it was when we had like a split squad last Saturday. I think I was the only guy that wasn't playing in either of the games. So I went on the backfield, and I was going to hit pitching machine, and sometimes those pitching machines aren't very good. And there's like 120 people watching. Out of like the 100 balls I saw, I might have hit 30 fair. I was like swinging it, like, because the machines are so finicky, but it was like, it'd like zoom one up and in on me, and then drop a change up, and it's a machine, so there's no sense of timing. I'm like, I got to go in because I'm like straight embarrassing myself out here. Like if somebody's got this on like Twitter taking a video of me, like, watch Tauchman swing and miss 5 times in a row off the pitching machine. And I'm like turning around screaming. I'm like, this thing's nasty. Like, stop. It's not my fault. No.
Pitching machine might be harder sometimes. You don't know what the hell's coming.
Hey, sometimes that thing is like Pedro Martinez out there, man. Like, If you got one because all it takes is the wheel not to quite spin as fast as the other one, and it drops something nasty, or you get a ball with like a scuff in it, and it just
I swear to God, this thing's hard to hit.
Those pitching machines, man. Oof.
Is there a guy on the team who you're facing a live VP who you like? Okay, I got to get a hit here to talk shit to him. Otherwise, he's going to talk shit to me. I assume there's one person in mind.
You mean how Tommy threw me 4 straight changeups in a live BP the other day?
No, Canley did that.
No way.
Yeah, you go, ball 1, ball 2, 2-0. And I'm like, he might throw a heater, changeup. 2-1, changeup. 2-2, he tried to sneak a heater by me, fouled it off. Threw a breaking ball for a ball, it's 3-2. And I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, in a game, he's 100% throwing me a changeup right here. In a live BP, he might throw a fastball. So I talk myself into throwing a fastball. Changeup comes out, I cap it. But you know how how baseball is now. And by the time I'm in 2 strikes, there's the third baseman's at shortstop.
There's a whole shit. Yeah.
And so I hit it probably right where the shortstop was, and I flicked it over. And I'm like, nobody plays there. And I walked off the field and.
Nobody's there.
Is there ever a debate if it's a hit or not? Do you ever get into that? I think it was maybe Gary hit one or someone, and then maybe off Montgomery. Montgomery's like, no, it was foul. He's like, it was a home run.
I remember that. I was on third base for that. It was. I thought it was foul.
What made you think, obviously hitting is such a guessing game. Why specifically there 3-2? Why were you like, you said confident, like in a game he's throwing a changeup. Why?
This is his best pitch.
Gotcha.
I mean, the way pitching is now, and I agree with, don't lose on your third best pitch or your second best pitch. If you're gonna lose, lose on your best pitch. Like that's, I think most pitchers would answer that. And the way the analytics are now, more or less, it's throw your best pitch as much as you can. It's Tommy's changeup, it's Otto's slider, it's Chappie's fastball, it's Britton's sinker. Like that's their best pitch. So if you're gonna beat me, I'm not going to let you beat me on my second best pitch, So, and that's sort of what hitting is. It's like go up there and, I'm trying to go up there and I'm trying to get off 3 A swings. And sometimes the definition of an A swing changes based on who you're facing. But, I don't want to make an out, especially early in the count. I don't want to make an out taking a bad swing,
Right.
So, I think that's kind of, maybe it's a little all or nothing, but that's the reality of how the game is now because of the difficulty level.
Going off that, so you explained to me a little bit last year this technique theory you have you had to basically teach yourself how to swing and miss to become a better hitter, something along those lines. Could you just elaborate into that?
Yeah, sure. So this kind of goes into learning how to hit for power as well. But I was always a very high contact rate guy. I think in 2015, I swung and missed in the strike zone like 9% of the time, which is pretty low, but I would make bad contact. So the idea of it is, if you get in a 1-0 count, I would rather, if you throw me a changeup, I'd rather miss it by 20 feet than you, taking an aggressive swing, than slow myself down just to put a ball in play. Because the reality is, a ground ball in the big leagues, you're probably out. You're probably out unless, the law of averages says you're out. Because, number one, they know where to play you. And number two, the infielders are all unbelievably good with a ton of range. And you're just, nobody's faster than the ball, So, so I wouldn't say learn how to swing and miss, but I'd say be okay swinging and missing.
Okay.
Because where it would be instead of a ground out to the second baseman and I'm coming back to the dugout being like, I just wasted an at-bat, it's I'm 1-1. I took a gangster swing at this thing, so the pitcher knows that I'm up here looking to do damage. And there's a psychological effect of that as well. And there's a psychological effect in my mind, too. I'm like, he just got a big swing and miss on that. He'll probably come back to it at some point. I've seen it now. I've swung at it. So I have a gauge on what the timing of it is. And if he throws it again, with 2 strikes, yeah, maybe I have to slow myself down. But if I keep my hands back, I could maybe, smack it out in the outfield or, shoot it through a hole or something. But I don't want to give away an at-bat when I'm in a leverage count not taking an A swing.
That makes sense because I feel like when you're growing up and everything, it's like just make contact, see what happens. And now if you make contact, you're going to get out if it's a ground ball. But I guess that just makes a lot of sense because you'd rather take a huge swing. Like if it did make contact, it's going deep.
Yeah, I mean, 2-3-1, you get off an A swing and you miss. What's the like? You're not out.
Yeah,
you have So I think that's kind of the theory behind it, and obviously like a pitch that's in the big part of the plate, and I take a good swing at it. Like I want to hit it because I feel like that's a pitch that you're going to have a good result on. But
I feel like it's a mental thing too with you. Like if you're okay with missing it, once you're like okay with missing a pitch, you're fine with it. Because usually when you swing a miss, you're like, oh fuck, I am totally can't see this pitch coming anymore. Like
it's just part of baseball.
Swinging way over it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the game, but I feel confident that I can be super aggressive, and then if I need to, I can pull out the fight swing with 2 strikes, and I can kind of hunker down and battle off some borderline pitches, or like fight off some nasty pitches, or take some nasty pitches in hopes of extending the at bat.
Sure. There's a very cool series coming up. Well, I guess it's just one game later in the season, the Field of Dreams game, which you guys are a part of, playing the White Sox. How cool is that? I mean, you're from Illinois, it's in Iowa. I guess it's in the same vicinity, whatever. I don't know how Field of Dreams is for you as a baseball player. How high up it ranks, but how cool is that whole experience going to be?
I mean, it'll be cool. Obviously we did the London thing last year. We got this going this year. What's it, August? It's in August?
It's August, yeah.
So, like, right around the All-Star break, then I'm probably going to have to start taking allergy medicine for a game in a cornfield. But
I might have to do it.
I mean, it's. I like that they're trying to, do things to bring, fans to the game. Obviously, that's a movie that has a lot of, kind of nostalgia factor for a lot of people. I've never seen it, to be honest.
Never seen it? Wow.
I haven't either.
So what would be your favorite baseball movie?
That's tough. That's a tough one. I mean, I have I liked the original Major League.
Oh, yeah.
I like the original Major. I like The Sandlot. Obviously, I think, any 90s kid loves The Sandlot. And Angels in the Outfield.
Angels in the Outfield.
I'm a love of the game. Love of the game guy by Kevin Costner. With Kevin Costner.
I like Bad News Bears, Bench Warmers.
Yeah, because that was you.
You're the guy. You're the one.
You're the one.
Yeah,
that's why he loved it.
I spilled my water after that.
Oh, they're funny movies.
Zero surprise.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Jeez Louise.
Sorry. So last year you guys were dubbed the Savages from the infamous Aaron Boone rant. I want to know, going into this season, are you still the Savages? Like, are you still going around the locker room calling yourself that, or is you think a new nickname for a new year?
Personally, I think that stuff like that happens organically like that over the course of the season is kind of the best. And I'm always of the mindset of it's a new year, it's a new group. Like, actually, we got him in camp. Chris Iannetta said something to me one time.
Mush's least favorite person in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just because he was bad in a video game.
Top baseball, he was terrible.
I'll let him know.
You tell him.
Yeah, but he said something to me one time that really stuck with me. Back when we were at the Rockies together, which was like, if you go searching for past feelings, and we were talking about hitting, but if you go searching for past feelings, you're just going to end up at a worse spot. And I think that's, like there'll be guys that was like, man, like if I could just get back to my swing in low A. And I'm like, what? When you were facing 10% of the guys that are big league arms and you were 4 years younger and 30 pounds lighter and a completely different person with a completely, the Savages thing was awesome. And we had a lot of fun with it, and it was a great year. And like for me, it was a life-changing year. Yeah, it really was, But if you try so hard to, I think, replicate that, it's never going to be the same. It's never going to. I mean, it's like when they do like a reboot of a movie franchise or something like that. Like,
or you try to get back with your ex, don't get back with your ex. Same thing.
That's what I thought when you were like, never search for past feelings. Like, are they talking love advice right now?
But it's just never going to be the same. And like that group was awesome. That group was special. But I think we got a special group this year, and we'll find our thing this year.
Yeah.
You know, because something will happen because it's a 6-month season, and something will happen, and you know, that'll be the new thing, and that people kind of jump all over.
That being said, your Madden League is called the National Savages League, right?
This is Tommy, man. That's just Tommy.
So you're the Bears in that. How's that going so far?
I won last night.
Okay. Who'd you beat?
The computer.
Okay.
But that's hard, man.
On all Madden,
yeah.
It's harder than playing somebody.
I bought the game just to like do this. So like I don't play like that. And they put it on all Madden, and it's like you can't throw. My quarterback is Deshaun Watson. He fumbles constantly. Like it's so hard. It's so hard. DJ beat me pretty good a couple nights ago. He kind of took my lunch money.
Who's he got?
He's the Lions, man, and he's got Russell Wilson. So like, who's like a cheat code in the game?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
King was telling us he's undefeated, but he's only played the computer. So I guess
There
he
you go.
play some.
There you go.
Some humans.
I beat Britton early in the year when he was trying to use Taysom Hill as his quarterback. Which,
I
like,
hate
He
Taysom.
hates
was a bad
Taysom
idea.
Hill for no reason.
I mean, I don't know. But
Jack of all trades, master of none. The diner of football players.
all right.
feel really strongly about
All right, yeah.
I don't really like diners either.
You guys had the ping pong tournament going on. I saw you beat Voigt. Are you a good ping pong player or no?
So when they were going around asking us, 1 through 10, what are your skills? And I said I'm a hard 5. Like I'm gonna let you know really early if I got it that day or I don't, because I'm either gonna be if I give the other guy 6 points, I might win.
Yeah.
But I could give him 12 points and I'm probably not gonna I'll just launch balls.
Are you a lefty?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't handle
That's
it.
a problem.
Lefties throw. We have a few. Ping pong has become a big thing in our office. Anytime I play lefty, my brain breaks.
Hubs plays like an asshole.
Yeah, I'm
though.
the best
He,
one in the office.
Screams.
Like he'll hit 1 point, like at a big point, he'll start screaming and fist
Get
point,
into it.
fist pumping.
You're just mad that I'm really good at the game.
But yeah, and then I played Florio and he was good.
Yeah.
He was good. I was like kind of like trying to joke around with me. He was like not about it. He was like, "I'm here for blood." And I was like, "Okay,
Jesus.
I'll lock in. I'll try to lock in here." But no, I mean, there was nobody beating Kyle Holder. Oh my god.
That good, really?
Oh my god.
He seems like a good ping pong player.
Yeah.
Infielders, man. Infielders are the best ping pong players.
Interesting. A topic of the world, I guess, and now it's filtering down the sports. The coronavirus. I mean, it's such like a severe thing, but like it's worth bringing up. At this point, they're telling now you guys to not take pens from fans and take baseballs from fans. How interesting and weird and scary is that dynamic?
They're telling people
that? They sent a memo out yesterday.
Did they?
We're telling you now.
Yeah, I guess we're telling you. Maybe that's your meeting later.
That's my excuse to not sign for the fans. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, like,
Corona.
don't want to die. Yeah.
You got rubber gloves for me.
Yeah, I think there was a memo sent out yesterday, but
Interesting.
yeah, very bizarre. That's weird that we know that before.
Right. I've just not really going off that, but you just seem like a smart guy with a lot of opinions. So I want to know: do you have a favorite conspiracy theory? I feel like you might have one conspiracy theory,
Or
just
like 100.
you're gonna die on.
Yeah, I do. I don't know how much I want to get into it. I'm not like, I don't know. A lot of them I just kind of like say to like mess with guys that like are like, because like the guy that's like, no man, like that's not what happened. And it's like, oh yeah, like it did. Like I was messing with somebody the other day saying we never landed on the moon because he was talking about it. I'm like,
Right.
dude, we didn't like actually land on the moon, right? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, like it was filmed, it was staged. Like, see, and I was like, the flag is blowing, like there's no gravity. How's that even possible? And I think I broke his brain. Like,
I mean, you just broke. I was like, damn, wait, that was
like,
blown.
what?
I can see Canley being one of those people be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no. So I don't know. I think that stuff is kind of like interesting. Like
You've got
the
one
History
you're sitting
Channel.
on.
You
I
have
can tell
one that's
right now.
gonna
You've got one you
destroy
don't
us.
want. You
There's just like, I'm like, that's a good point. Like when they talk about, I don't know, sometimes like being from Chicago, the Michael Jordan suspension one.
Oh,
Right, he
right.
wouldn't play
yeah.
baseball. I'm
Yeah.
like,
No, I believe
maybe,
that.
but
Makes a whole lot of sense.
I was like, because like, I mean, if I was Mike Trout, I wouldn't be like, you see me hit that golf ball yesterday, I might go join the PGA Tour. I'm like, no, stick to
Stick to your best sport.
So, but that stuff is fun to talk about sometimes, or like mess with some people or whatever. But yeah,
So I have a theory that the oceans should have walls. You need to put a big ass wall. For the audio listeners, he's staring at me very angry.
Yes.
Don't you think the ocean should have walls so it won't ever overflow? The tsunamis will never happen.
All right. I don't know what to say. Sure. Yeah.
See? Thank you. All right.
I'm speechless.
That's a win
He's gonna
right
walk
there.
up to Kaylee tomorrow and be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Ocean should have some walls.
It makes sense. Think about we're going through tunnels. It's a wall.
Oh, my God.
All right.
All right, well, yeah, we got to get you out of here. One last thing. So you went the whole year playing Yankee Stadium. What is it like? Is it just like nothing else playing Yankee Stadium and the crowds are going nuts?
Nothing like it.
Yeah.
Nothing like it. Even though there was a part of me that was just dying a little bit inside when we hosted it, like the ALDS Game 1, and we all ran out there. And, it's kind of get that, and I mean, I ran as best I could at the time. But, to get the ovation and everybody in the crowd and – I think Glaber hit up like a bases loaded double or something like that early in the game, and the beer going up through the air and the freaking jets going by, and it was just like, I was like, yeah, like this
is awesome.
That's it, and there's a little part of me that was just dying not to be out there, but
that's the motivation this year. It's like
absolutely, it's extremely motivating.
Get right back there.
But that's like, I mean, what else do you play for?
Yeah,
100%. Well, Mike, thank you so much for taking the time to come out here. I think it's pretty wild how last year you're traded on like the last day of spring training, and then you get on that train. You tell us you don't even know if you're on the team. You're just like, should I even be here? And now here you are. You're pretty much in the outfield right now. You're the guy. So it's pretty cool to see. And I wish you all luck and all the health. And we look forward to seeing you out there.
I appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Sockman.